Welcome everyone, Dylan Gemelli here today with a brand new video for you. So today we're going to talk about Boldenone Acetate. Now before we get into that, I want to start off by reiterating I'm not a doctor. Anything I say in these videos is for your entertainment purposes only. I'm not advising nor insinuating for you to use any of the things that we discuss, and what you do with this information is completely up to you. So let's talk about Boldenone Acetate. Generally it's called short-acting EQ or Equipoise, alright? Now, it's actually a veterinary steroid, and it's most known for use in horse racing. And it's never been approved for human use, just so we know that. I'm sure a lot of you probably already know that, but in case you didn't, Boldenone Acetate is actually a widespread injectable anabolic steroid among several bodybuilders, and it's gaining more popularity as time has gone on. Now, in order for us to understand how this particular acetate version of Boldenone is actually different from the normal one with the undecilonate ester, we've got to first understand what esters and half-lives actually mean. And I've talked about this several times, but just to reiterate. The most popular version of Boldenone or Equipoise, same thing, is the undecilonate version with a half-life of roughly 14 days, while the acetate's half-life is only 3 days. So there's a huge disparity here. One of the things people don't care for when it comes to Equipoise is that it's such a long ester. It takes a lot longer to actually show and build, and you generally run it a lot longer than you technically may want to. Now, contrary to a lot of belief that's posted on many steroid forums, half-life does not refer to how long the compound will be active in the body. It actually takes several half-lives before the compound's esters totally clear your system. So, this is also dependent on how much time that you actually have given the compound to build up, since 1 or 2 injections is not the same as 10 injections. So, once the compound reaches peak levels within your system, it's going to take approximately 3 to 4 half-lives for it to clear out in most cases. So, with the undecilonate ester of Equipoise, it's going to take like 5 to 6 weeks to leave your system compared to 1 to 2 weeks with the acetate version. Now, half-life simply refers to the period of time needed for the concentration of the drug to be reduced by half the given amount. Alright? So, in the case of the acetate ester, if you inject 100 milligrams of acetate, then after 3 days, the length of the time of the half-life, you're going to have 50 milligrams still present within your body. Then after 3 more days, only 25 milligrams, and so on and so forth. So let's talk about long esters versus short esters. The beautiful part of anabolic steroids are the long-lasting effects, all right, that reduce the frequency of necessary injections, which would be the main advantage of using the longer ester. Now, wouldn't it be hard if you had to inject every couple hours? But once you stop injecting the long ester, it's going to take several weeks to clear out of your system, as I just pointed out. Now, this is a very important issue because until the esters are completely gone, your HPTA is not going to be able to recover fully and produce hormones on its own again. On the flip side, the advantage of short esters is that they are in and out of your body like this, or much quicker. So, and that makes a huge difference. If you want to run numerous cycles per year, and the required time off would be decreased. Also, the short ester can be very beneficial if you're concerned with side effects bothering you. All right, it helps to get out of your system quicker, thus alleviating the side effects quicker. Let's talk about post-injection pain. Now, PIP is what you're always going to hear people write. That stands for post-injection pain. Boldenone acetate is considered a pretty painful substance to inject. This is probably one of the biggest turnoffs of using the acetate version of Equipoise compared to the undecilonate version, where you're not going to really feel anything. There's several things that you can do to help to relieve the PIP. For instance, you can home brew, which I don't recommend. This is just me giving you the options. You can home brew your Boldenone acetate to change its conversion by actually adjusting the benzyl alcohol and it's the BA and BB ratios, basically, which is going to help you to then thin out the injection. Now, if you are not a home brewing wizard, you can also get another steroid oil like testosterone and simply mix them to create a diluting effect before injecting. That can also help. Some guys have claimed that heating the oil will help, as well as injecting a lot slower and much smaller amounts at a time. I would encourage you to, maybe try the first suggestions. They're the most beneficial and effective, but like I said, I don't get into that homebrew thing. I don't discuss it. I don't talk about it. That's all up to you on what you do. That's your business. Not really my thing. Nothing I want to discuss. So, as I always say, ask me all questions. I don't get into anything like that. I don't have any answers there. So that's not a good question to ask me. I'm not the guy for that. It is a very important, aspect of steroid use, since dealing with PIP can really ruin a workout, because it will make the muscle you injected sore for several days, and it can cause swelling, it can cause redness. It's variant from individual to individual. It must be noted that certain individuals tend to be more sensitive than others, so you may react differently than you did on prior cycles because your body changes over time as well, and one person might have it far worse than you do, or vice versa. Now, so that we understand, what the Boldenone acetate ester is all about, we can then transition to talk about the unique properties of it. So, one of the advantages of Boldenone is its structure, which makes it unlikely to convert to estrogen. Now, it does have an affinity to cause possible estrogen problems if used at extremely high dosage, making water retention possible, but almost non-existent when you compare it with other compounds. So this makes it a really good choice for endurance athletes who don't want to carry around water weight and things like that. It's very mild on side effects. Some users report, appetite changes, which I've talked about in my other Equipoise video, where they talk about an increase in hunger. That's hit and miss, okay? Because a lot of people never experience that. So that's another thing that's variant from person to person. If you're trying to lean bulk or gain some size, that's great. If you're trying to cut, maybe not so much. But like I said, it's different from person to person. Some people have talked about aggravated anxiety. So if they were already predisposed to it, Equipoise possibly causing a little bit more anxiety. But once again, hit and miss on that as well. Obviously, it's suppressive. Other than that, and the red blood cell count increase, I don't want to forget that. Boldenone is known to possibly increase red blood cell count, so that is why you want to donate blood at least once during your cycle. But most people will talk about their improved endurance, their improved strength, and their improved lean muscle mass. You just got to be aware and keep monitor of your blood work. I did a video that talked about blood work and what tests to do. Red blood cell counts is important to follow. So make sure that you're paying attention to all of those areas and you're donating blood. General recommended dose. I always tell people 500 to 600 milligrams is the sweet spot, up to 800 milligrams being the top end. I don't recommend going to a gram of this. And generally, I'm a more conservative recommender, but Equipoise does need to be ran a little bit higher. With the acetate version, obviously you can run the cycle length a lot shorter. Generally, on the regular undesalinate ester, it's recommended to go a good 16 weeks, 14 minimum, generally 16. With the acetate version, you're looking at 8 to 10 weeks. So that's a big advantage there if you can handle the PIP and if you want to run a short ester cycle and pin more often. But that is it. That is Boldenone acetate. I know a lot of people are interested in it. It's become more and more popular as time has gone on, especially considering people don't always like to run super long cycles. So that being said, www.icearms.com/forums. I'm also on the evolutionary forum as well as the elite fitness forum. You can also email me, dylan@icearms.com. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel. That being said, stay tuned for plenty more to come. Dylan Gemelli, signing off.